Welcome friends to another video. Welcome back to another episode of 12 scented months. In this type of videos, I'm gonna give you 10 recommendations that you can wear throughout every single month of the year. And this time around, we are talking about the month of January. This is the second episode for my international audience, but for my Romanian audience, it's already the fifth or the sixth because I started earlier with this concept. Therefore, let's not waste any time and let me give you my 10 fragrances for the month of January or for a scented January. Let's start with the first one. There are designer fragrances, but also niche fragrances. Some of them are cheap, others are, let's say, a bit expensive, but I wouldn't say that's something out of the ordinary and you could not afford them. Let's start with the first fragrance from the house of Dolce Gabbana. Comes my favorite fragrance from this house, and it's none other than Dolce Gabbana Intenso Puro. I simply love this tobacco-based scent. It's simply amazing, and especially compared to the original Pour which I also have, and I don't really appreciate it. I like it, but I don't love it. This one, I love it. It's simply great. It's very good. It's very powerful. The combination of notes works absolutely amazing on my skin, and the performance is simply great. You have that hay note also inside, combined with the tobacco leaf, which is simply great. This is a mature scent, and it's also a scent for special occasions. So I wouldn't wear this one every single day casually because it's not meant for that. This is a scent for a gentleman, if you ask me, for a more mature one, but it's a great scent nonetheless. The second one on this list comes from the house of Hugo Boss, and it's none other than Hugo Boss, the scent Absolute. I simply love this fragrance. I love the fruity note. I love the alcoholic vibe that this maninka fruit gives out. Therefore, I also get very good performance, very good projection. It's very versatile. You can wear it casually, but also formally, and you can wear it also throughout the year. But I picked it up for the month of January, mainly because I love smelling something else than, I don't know, dark fragrances, heavy fragrances. And this is a very nice fruity, boozy combo that I simply love. And to be honest with you, I consider this one to be the best fragrance, designer fragrance from the house of Hugo Boss. This is my second pick. Let's go to the next one from the house of Cartier. And this may surprise a lot of you, but this one works simply flawlessly for me in hot weather, but also in cold weather, is Declaration. I love this fragrance in cold weather, mainly because in the colder months you get, let's say, saturated with all the heavy fragrances, all the woody or woody ambery fragrances. Therefore, sometimes you may need to smell something a bit more refreshing. And here comes Declaration, which again works perfect in warmer days, but also in cold days. And it's like a breath of fresh air because it simply gives you a break from all the other fragrances in your collection, all the dark fragrances. And I love to do this type of, let's say, changes in my wearing because I get bored really fast when I smell only dark fragrances. Therefore, when I need something a bit more fresher, when I need something more casual, more versatile, Declaration Cartier is an excellent pick. Highly recommended. It's not my favorite one from the line, believe it or not. I actually prefer Declaration Essence or even more Declaration Low, which I highly appreciate. So this isn't my favorite one, but still it's a great scent. Next one up comes from the house of Ted Lapidus, and this is none other than Oud Blanc. This is a unisex fragrance, and it tends to lean a bit on the feminine side, mainly because it has a very interesting peach note inside. You get oud and all the whistles and bells that you get in this type of fragrances. This is a very heavy fragrance. It's very overpowering. It's a monster in terms of projection, in terms of longevity, in terms of sillage. But As I said, due to that fruity note, it tends to lean a bit more on the feminine side. Very beautiful nonetheless, but I would be very careful how much I apply from this bottle because it's very, very prone to induce headaches. So be aware of this. I also have Oud Noir, that is the manly version. So I highly recommend you to go and pick that one up. But if you love more feminine fragrances, then this one will do miracles for you. Oud Blanc from the house of Ted Lapidus. Next one up comes from the house of Le Couvent des Minimes or Le Couvent Maison de Parfum, as they are rebranded. And this one, it's called Portobello. This is a very beautiful fragrance. Vanilla, ambery, woody, incensey fragrance. It has some darkness, some booziness. It has, let's say, a smoked vibe to it. And overall, it smells simply great. Also, the performance, at least on me, because I've seen a lot of people complaining about the fragrances of this house and also about this one, Portobello. The performance on me is simply amazing. I also highly encourage you to give a sniff to this one called Ford Royal, which is simply amazing. But Portobello, it's beautiful, it's long lasting, it leaves a beautiful trail behind. It's a unisex fragrance, but due to the smokiness that it brings to the table, it tends to lean a bit more on the masculine side. Give it a try if you haven't already, but I'm pretty sure you're gonna love this one. Let's go to the next one. Of course, what can I say? The monster, the silent killer, Mancera. Mancera Black Prestigium. I simply love this fragrance. It's so powerful. It's an amazing combination between iris, between rose and agarwood. It's simply an amazing fragrance. Very, very long lasting, very, very strong in projection, huge scent trail, and attracts a lot of compliments. I only use one spray per wear. I don't dare to use 2 or 3 sprays because on me, on my skin, it's overpowering and it induces me some pretty nasty headaches. Therefore, I only use one spray and that's enough for me. But this one is something that you really need to have in your collection, especially if you love iris, rose, and agarwood. Mancera Black Prestigium. Next one up, yeah, one of my favorites. I said it many times. This one was featured on my free fragrances for Christmas. And this is from the house of Scent Story 24 Elixir Platinum. Simply amazing. I love this fragrance. I love the scent, I love the performance, I love the compliments. Although this is a unisex fragrance, it has some very masculine notes inside, especially the leather note. Also, you have a boozy accord, and you also have some fruity notes. But this could be worn by both females and males. I highly appreciate it as a male, and I actually love to sniff this fragrance. It's that good. It's oriental, but at the same time, it's gourmand, which is a genre that I really like. 24 from Sensory Elixir Platinum. Highly recommended if you do not have this fragrance. Let's go to the house of Alexandre J, one of the most beautiful, interesting, and intriguing vetiver notes, Golden Oud. This is absolutely amazing for me, mainly because in the past years I kind of got tired of smelling vetiver and also owning vetiver fragrances. But this one brought me, let's say, a drip of happiness, if you want, when it comes to vetiver. Mainly because this is a very spectacular interpretation. You have some solar notes in the opening, which are very, very curious, but then you have a huge, huge, earthy, dark vetiver inside the composition, combined with a very interesting agarwood note and also with some patchouli. Very simplistic composition, but with a very complex manifestation, if you want, on the skin, at least on my skin. It's very dark, it's very mature, it's very formal, it's very soily at the same time, very earthy. It's almost gothic. It almost brings that humidity that you can find when you dig a grave, for example, if you know what I mean. That kind of fragrance is represented in this beautiful bottle. Golden Oud from the house of Alexander J. Highly recommended. Really good for January when temperatures are still low. We remain in the same house, in the same collection, but this time around I'm going to talk about a gourmand fragrance, and this is Zafir Oud Vanille. This one in the beginning was a bit weird on my skin, mainly because this is a unisex fragrance, but it leaned a bit more on the feminine side, mainly because the most prominent notes on my skin were the coconut note and also the vanilla note. This is a fragrance for those of you who love vanilla, first and foremost. And I had some issues with this because it was leaning on the feminine side. But time passed by, I left the fragrance to develop by itself, and now I can actually consider this fragrance to be unisex on my skin. Why? Because now I can actually feel, smell the beautiful agarwood note found inside. Also, the coconut has tempered a bit, is not as predominant as it was in the first times when I worn this fragrance, and is not as milky as it was, because this fragrance for me, for a long period, was considered to be the representation of Bounty chocolate. Sorry, Bounty chocolate. That was the exact same feeling that I got from this fragrance every single time that I was wearing it, every single time that I was sniffing it, and it was actually quite interesting, quite nice, because I love the chocolate, but at the same time it was pretty annoying. Now it's exactly what it was supposed to be. The fragrance has grown, if you want, on me, on my skin, has adapted to my skin's chemistry, and now it's a different story. Therefore, for the month of January, I consider Zafir Oud Vanille to be a very good choice and also a very good recommendation. And finally, we arrived at the last one, and this is from the house of Reminiscence, and it's a classic. It's called Patchouli. This is actually the fragrance that I picked for GaVo Scented Week number 5. So this is the fragrance that I wear every single day this week, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. If you love patchouli, you're gonna love this fragrance. I, for one, I'm not crazy about patchouli. I never was. It's one of those notes that on me and for me don't really work well, mainly because if it's very dominant, if it's overpowering, it creates olfactive discomfort. It also induces very fast, just like the vetiver note, induces headaches. Therefore, I love my patchouli a bit more, let's say, tempered down, a bit more, let's say, downsized, if you want. And this one is blended really, really great with a cedar note and also with some sandalwood. It's very creamy, it's very chocolatey, but at the same time, it sports a minty undertone. Very beautiful composition, very simplistic. You only have those three elements, patchouli, cedar, and sandalwood, but the fragrance smells really great. It's not very powerful. It doesn't try to dominate everything around it. And this is why it's one of those patchoulis that work for me. It isn't, if you don't like Histoire de Parfum, Noir Patchouli, which is very chocolatey, very green, very sweet, but at the same time, very, very powerful. And although I like that fragrance, I wouldn't actually go and wear it throughout the whole day. It's not the case with patchouli from Reminiscence. This is a very beautiful fragrance. I highly recommend it. Also, it's not a fragrance that you can wear only in colder days, such as in January. You can also wear this one in spring and fall, which makes it very versatile, and you can wear it casually and also formally. So a really nice patchouli for me and for my taste. Others may find it, I don't know, boring, inoffensive, whatnot. One thing's for sure, this fragrance that first came to the market in 1970, if I'm not mistaken, is considered to be the granddaddy of all patchouli fragrances nowadays. So give it a try if you don't know the fragrance. Wear it, see how it performs, see how it smells, and why not? Maybe you will purchase a full bottle. This does it, guys. This has been the last one on this list. These are my 10 recommendations for the month of January, for a scented January. This was Patchouli Reminiscence. I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna thank you for your attention, for your time, and I'm gonna wish you all the best as always. And I'm gonna see you in the next episode of 12 Scented Months, or why not, reviews or GaVo Scented Week. Be safe, be good, peace.